Okay, so I'm doing a video on my Savannah monitor lizard and my Nile monitor right there. They are both babies, and there's a lot of discussion on not putting them two together, but since they're babies, this is the first time I've ever done that or done this, and they seem to be getting fine, just alright. They seem to be more scared of me. So for those who are wondering if you could put a Savannah monitor and a Nile monitor together in the same enclosure, just make sure they are young, and overall it seems fine. The difference is this enclosure is mainly for the Savannah. Nile require more water. If you can see this, the only water they have is this. Like I said, this is mainly the Savannah's enclosure. As for the Nile, I just put them in here. This is a 90-gallon aquarium. Of course, the Savannah and them are going to need a bigger enclosure when it gets bigger. But they seem to be doing pretty just fine. There's a Nile right there. And yeah, they seem pretty good. I've been feeding them crickets. And that's pretty much it, if you can see those crickets moving around. And I haven't kept them in overnight or anything. This is just the first time them seeing each other, being introduced. Elliot seems to be fine. That's a Savannah monitor, and he's actually older, so. But they say a Nile monitor would win in a fight between a Savannah fully grown between each other. So since the Savannah's older, maybe that's why they haven't attacked each other. But I still recommend, if you do something like this, putting them two together as babies. Make sure it's a big enclosure like this or bigger. Then just have them two have their own separate sides, like one have a hot side and the other. Nile monitors require more like a pond or a swamp, more water. But yeah, they seem to be pretty close to each other and not fight in any kind of way. Not sure if I got a good camera view. Yeah, they're like that close to each other. The Nile's hiding. But yeah, they seem to be fine. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of talk on mixing your monitors, but they seem pretty fine. And as long as it's babies, like I said, and just be there. As far as overnight, I don't really want to chance it, but they seem to be like friends. And plus, I just got these two out of the pet store when they actually were around other of their own kind, so maybe it's like a lonely thing where they actually prefer being with each other. They're not fighting, they probably feel more alone, and since they're babies, you know, they're taken out of the habitat. The Nile monitor is exploring more. As for the Savannah, this has been his home for already about a month or two. I had the Savannah monitor going on 3 months. The Nile monitor I just got a week ago, so that could be something. I'm just experimenting here. There's so many questions like on Google that I have, and they yet have a YouTube video or a voice of, but people always, like, I Google things and people have their own opinions. So now it's just my turn to experiment. I rather do my research before I experiment, because you know, you don't want to end up having a lizard head taken off or anything like that, but that's what us experimenting do. But they're fine. You know, I've done a lot of research, more mainly on the Savannah monitor, since I said like I had it over 4 months. The Nile monitor, I don't have any experience, or I didn't really do much research. All that I know is that they're one of the most aggressive monitor lizards, and they get bigger. And so far, taking care of Elliot, the Savannah monitor, I would say if you had to choose any monitor for a beginner, it would be the Savannah. Really easy so far. As for the Nile, he's more difficult, even though I just had it for a week. A lot of people would say, you see a lot of YouTube videos, it's all fine. But yeah, where the right there, where the Nile monitor went when you saw him last, that's usually where Elliot sleeps. That's his home. That's his hole as he's going under it too. Best thing is to do is not stress him out. But they actually both seem more scared of me rather than each other or fighting each other. So I may just actually let them live together and see what happens. If I start to see some changes or something, or attacking, then I'm gonna have to separate them. But from here on out, if people have any questions or want to look into this more, all the experts are probably gonna tell me no, or probably gonna criticize me. But you have a dog and a cat living with each other, you know, people are gonna say that's a big time difference. But who knows? I'm willing to chance it as long as they're both intact. They do say they can mix what is it called, diseases, but as long as I keep these lizards clean and keep cleaning this aquarium, I'm gonna make sure they're alright. Could also be because one could be a male and the other could be a female, that's why they're getting along, or both females, because I know if they're both males they would not be getting along, or who knows. But yeah, they both seem to be more scared of me. If you check this out, if I barely pick this up, they'll flinch. See, they're actually like cuddling. Yeah, they're not really scared right now. But yeah, they keep having this kind of behavior. It's because the reason why I switched it was because since this is a 90-gallon aquarium compared to I had the Nile monitor in a 20-gallon, so that wasn't right. I wanted to keep them more in a big space rather than keeping one in a big space and another in a tight, cramped spot. And that'll be it. There's crickets. They've already been eating, so I'm probably gonna have to get a bigger bowl though, because that one's probably not gonna cut it. Especially for the Nile monitor. The Savannah monitor is perfectly fine with this whole setup with the water. And that bowl over there was for the mealworms, but I don't have any more now because I don't like it eating the soil practically, but it's just gonna get soil anyways. And I dust some with calcium too, but these crickets probably got the calcium already off them. If you have any questions or any knowledge of having them two living together, please tell me.